what have we been up to lately as a mortgage team? Well, a lot of amazing things have been happening. One of the biggest things that has been on my heart the last year, and why I've been getting so many licenses. So I'm up to 31 states now and growing. And I realized about 2 years ago, with a lot of the tips and content that we've been doing for people, is that there's so many people that haven't bought a home all over the country, not just where I live, but in all different kinds of states, and where they're from and where they came from. There's not a lot of knowledge in mortgage lending, right? And a lot of people don't know who to turn to. They're afraid, they don't know who to trust, and they don't know how the process works. Well, how should they? I mean, they've never done it before. So I realized that whether you're living in Georgia or Florida or Wisconsin or Texas, having a fear of buying a home is universal, right? And people just need to find somebody like myself. So I'm like, you know what? It's just time to go on a rampage and get licenses all over the country. So that's what I started to do. And now that I've gathered, I think just in the last year alone, I've gathered over 10 or 12 states. And my goal is to get all 50, but that'll come with time. But really the biggest thing that's been happening for me and my mortgage team is we're finding areas of the country that have a huge need and a lack of good mortgage lending advice, right? Like every city's got banks, every city's got mortgage companies there, but not a lot of places in the country have good, amazing, high-level mortgage advisors that can, basically somebody that you can trust, right? Somebody that you can call, and it doesn't matter where you live. And the biggest thing I realized is people are open to the idea now in 2023 that my mortgage lender doesn't have to live in my town, right? Because let's say you live in, let's say you live in El Paso, Texas, and there's just not very many great mortgage lenders in that town. Well, that's okay. You can call somebody like myself that does live up in Bismarck, North Dakota. And because of the knowledge and expertise and my heart and my team and the experience that we have and having all the loan options, we can give a customer that's living down in El Paso absolute red carpet VIP customer service and deliver a full digital, full paperless process. And that's what people really want nowadays, right? Not a lot of people want to go in multiple times, drive around, sign a bunch of documents. I mean, having paperless documents, paperless closings, and being able to do everything on the fly that works around your work schedule, that's really the evolution of mortgage lending, right? The evolution of buying homes, selling homes, and investing in real estate is really, it's on this thing, right? And it's all communication. And which is kind of funny because when I was back in college, I didn't know what I was going to major in. And I remember sitting down with my counselor and I was like, should I do business? And I realized all the math I was going to have to take. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to do all that math. Because I did not like math growing up, which is funny because I'm in the financial mortgage world now. And people think I deal with numbers all day, which I do to a certain extent, but our software programs do that, right? But the majority of what I do day to day is communicating with people and being able to set expectations, being able to communicate how the process is going to go, what we need from them, when we need them to do it, and then being able to answer their questions on the fly. Because a lot of people don't realize this, but they're so afraid to reach out because they don't know all the questions they're going to have, all the times they're going to have to talk to a lender. I mean, there's sometimes I work with a client for months before they buy a house. And then once we get them under contract on a house, and the process takes about a month or so to close, sometimes sooner, we've had to have, I bet, 10 phone calls, right? Exchanging 20, 30 texts. And when you're talking with somebody that much, you want to like who you're talking to, right? You don't want to just pick somebody off of a bank or pick somebody off of a sign. You want to pick somebody off of word of mouth, getting advice or getting a recommendation, and you want to be able to do research, find some of the best lenders in the country, and then pick based on somebody that suits your personality and your communication style too, right? And I just really think that when people start to understand how mortgage lending has revolutionized and how it's changed so rapidly in the last few years, yeah, COVID affected it, but I think for the better, 100%. And now that we can do everything paperless, and you can pick a lender as long as they're licensed in the state you're in, you can pick a lender anywhere in the country. It's amazing, right? It's like a buffet of being able to pick through a roster of people of who you want to work with, and you should. You are the home buyer, you drive the car, you can take that car where you want to take it. So that's the power of what's been going on lately.